Well, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I am so excited that you're here today. This is such an incredible event. It's been a long time in the making. And so thank you for being a part of it. Whether you've been a part of it for over 10 years or you're just getting ready with our partners from Leidig who are about ready to put their shovels in the ground. Regardless of your role, we're happy you're here today to celebrate what's going to be an incredible addition to the South County community and an incredible advancement in our climate commitments here for King County. So thank you for being here. My name is Pat McLaughlin. I serve as King County's Director of Solid Waste. And you're going to get a chance to meet a few folks here today who've been an incredible part of this journey and have helped to remove incredible roadblocks and innovate our way to get to this point. But I just want to share a few opening comments before we hear from these additional individuals. This project, as I mentioned, has been a long time coming. In 1960, the South County transfer station next door came into existence. It has long been overdue for replacement. And what we're doing today in breaking ground on the South County Recycling and Transfer Station is not just going to replace an aged facility. It's going to bring much needed advancement in terms of services to this growing community, services that are going to help us recycle more, waste less, and be less impactful on the environment in the process. 70% of the materials that come through facilities like this every day end up in the landfill when in fact they're recyclable. That's the equivalent of 100 truckloads a day going into the landfill that belong back in the economy. Facilities like are going to be here in this ground in just a couple years are going to allow us to divert and recycle more. And we're just super excited about that. It's the first new recycling and transfer station project to pursue the Living Building Challenge, including an Energy Pedal certification. Very exciting. It's one of 20 zero energy certification Living Building Challenge projects in the county that we're pursuing before 2025. And of course, it ties into King County's strong climate action commitment, and that is to cut our carbon emissions dramatically in half, actually, by the end of the decade. This project represents not just the needs for the community in terms of incorporating priorities of equity and social justice in the design, the construction, and how it will be operated, but it's also bringing new green jobs to the area, training programs for the community members, environmental education. We're going to be investing in equipment for immigrant and refugee urban farmers. We're going to increase access to locally grown food. The new facility is going to have a variety of amenities, conference rooms for community use, safety improvements, not just in the facility, but even along West Valley Highway, and a number of habitat restoration projects. One of the most unique features of this project, however, is its design. And I think this is one of the only facilities of its kind that has actually been co-designed with our employees. In fact, we have a few of those employees here today, and I just want to recognize Rhonda Scobie, Jake Harris, Alex Nagy, amongst many others who came to the table, brought their innovation, brought their ideas and their experience. Imagine being able to design your own workspace. And these employees, along with hundreds of others, worked alongside our design professionals to develop what's going to be an amazing recycling and waste management facility. And we're just super excited about that, super grateful. Our guest speakers are going to talk more about these elements, so I don't want to eat up all the airtime. We'll also be available to answer any questions that you may have after we do the groundbreaking. Again, I'm really, really grateful that you're here. I want to turn the microphone over to our deputy executive, who we're very fortunate to have here with us today. April Putney, who has been an absolute champion in not just King County's climate commitments, but in helping to support this project, getting it off the ground and helping us propel it forward. So please welcome Deputy Executive April Putney.
Thank you, Pat, and welcome everybody to Algona. While we appreciate the spectacular weather, we know that just a few days ago experienced temperatures close to 90 degrees, more than 20 degrees above average for this time of year. It was a hazardous record that generated national news coverage. I think the Washington Post headline summed it up really well. The early heat wave gripping the Northwest is rare and worrying. It reinforces the reality that climate change is not just some future problem to be dealt with, it's a threat right here, right now. In addition to preparing our region for more extreme weather events, we must move faster to eliminate the carbon emissions that contribute to them. And that's why Executive Constantine has directed each of his cabinet leaders to take immediate action on strategies that will cut countywide emissions in half by the end of this decade. And we are already making great progress in carbon-free mobility, electrifying one of the nation's largest bus fleets, expanding our regional trail networks that connect to high-capacity light rail, and upholding effective land use policies that create sustainable, walkable, connected communities. We're making the buildings where we live, work, and gather greener, safer, and more efficient, making it possible for businesses and homeowners to transition from fossil fuels to clean energy. And our Department of Natural Resources and Parks recently opened a new front with RePlus, a bold initiative to cut emissions by reinventing the region's waste system, leading the transition to a more sustainable, circular economy. Today, we are breaking ground on a major capital project that will make it safer and easier for the people of South King County to contribute to RePlus climate solutions. Our state-of-the-art South County Recycling Transfer Station will offer convenient services for households and businesses to recycle materials, compost yard waste, and dispose hazardous waste. It will feature a solar array that will provide nearly half the energy needed to operate the station, as well as charging stations for electric vehicles, drought-tolerant landscapes, road improvements, stormwater management, and habitat enhancements. The executive and I are grateful for the frontline employees who co-designed this station. Your insight and expertise will make it safer, more efficient, while also improving the experience for customers. Thank you. We're applying the latest green design principles so we can do more than just limit the environmental impacts. We're also going to improve the ecological functions, and that is incredibly exciting. It's going to include wetland mitigations and realigning a stream so it can once again flow beneath ground or above ground rather than below ground in a pipe. And thanks to inspiring art coordinated by For Culture, it will help a new generation better understand the authentic history of this land that started millennia before European colonization. This will be the first recycling and transfer station of its kind in the state to integrate sustainability, equity, and public service, reinforcing our solid waste division's reputation as our industry leader. Here and throughout the county, we're investing in solutions that produce multiple benefits, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, restoring habitat, and honoring the true history of our land. Thank you to everyone who helps make it possible, and I will say as a personal aside, this is my first groundbreaking to take part in as Deputy County Executive, and I am thrilled that it is on such an instrumental project in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Executive Putney. It takes, they say it takes a village. It takes a tremendous broad effort to make a project like this successful at all levels of the county. I also want to acknowledge some of our other partners who are with us here today, especially Mayor Leanne, oh my goodness. Geyer, sorry, Mayor Leanne Geyer. She's so personable. I always know her as Mayor Leanne. Anyways, Mayor Leanne Geyer from our City of Pacific. Thank you for being here today. You know, at a county level, we actually needed legislation help to be passed in order to support this project as well. And as all of you know, Councilmember Von Reichbauer has been a longstanding advocate for the South County communities, and this has been no exception in terms of his support for this project moving forward. Very pleased to have Councilmember Von Reichbauer here today. Please welcome him to the podium.
Good morning, Leanne. Very good. For too long, South King County has felt like the poor stepchild when it comes to the dinner table. Today, we're at the main table and we're at the head of the table with this new technology. I want to thank Christy True and her operation for helping us be here today. I want to thank Pat McLaughlin, who's been an outstanding leader of his department. And I want to thank all of you who are participants in this process. I'm excited that the construction is starting on the South County Recycling and Transfer Center because of the apprentice programs and green jobs it will create. They're essential to a robust workforce and to the long-term success of our region. I also want to acknowledge somebody who is not here. When this process first began, Pat and I know Dave Hill, the mayor before Troy, was the long-term mayor here. He loves his community. He gave his community his all. He cannot be here due to health reasons, but I want to acknowledge David Hill and the staff of the city of Algona for the incredible work they did. We have to work a little harder here in South King County, and it's great to have the collaborative effort. I know Nancy Backus would have been here today, but she had to retreat with the city of Auburn. So thank you, Troy. Thank you, Leanne. And again, thank you, Pat. And thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Councilmember Von Reichbauer. I'm honored to introduce Sam Obervik, who's working with For Culture on the project of public art for this facility. The public art feature of our projects are always a really exciting portion because we dedicate funding for the arts to be shared with the public. And in this case, we have partnered with not just For Culture, but their artist selection from the Muckleshoot tribe. And Sam Obervik is a member of that tribe, an artist, 1/3 of the South County Recycling and Transportation Muckleshoot artist team. So he's one of 3. And that team consists of carvers, designers, tool makers, and general artisans. And their work can be seen all over Washington and soon right here at this site. So please join me in welcoming Muckleshoot tribal artist Sam Obervik.
Move them up a little bit. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Obervik, and I'm a Muckleshoot tribal member and artist, and one of 3 Muckleshoots that are working on the art installations for this site. This site will feature 2 main installations created by the Muckleshoot artist team, which consists of Tyson Skin Simmons, please raise your hand, Keith Stevenson, and myself. As you enter and exit the facility, you'll be greeted by large aluminum and acrylic medallions displayed on the retaining wall. The imagery represents the sun, moon, frog, and heron, each of which have a connection between them. There are 13 of these medallions, which coincides with the 13 traditional seasons of the people of this region. The sun and the moon are in a constant state of movement with each other, always rising and falling, which will be represented in their placement on the wall. The frog sings to the moon at night, while the heron hunts for frog and his friends during the day. The concept behind these pieces is to display the relationships and interconnectedness that occur all around us all the time. The tie between these 4 elements is unbreakable, and they all depend on one another in this ever-moving cycle. Running along the wall will be Running along the wall between each installation will be visual representations of stories and teachings our ancestors have passed down to us and that we're working to keep alive. These images will be sandblasted into the wall, which will ensure they'll be there for many generations. The same stories and teachings will be told in the other installation, the heron carving. This will be a 20-foot carving of a heron, of which the wood, a western red cedar, was harvested directly from the site prior to construction. These stories and teachings will also be told by carving them into the wings of the heron, which will create visual fluidity across the facility and will lend itself to tying the two pieces together, further strengthening that concept of interconnectedness. The wood for the wings was also sourced from this site and consists of western hemlock, Doug fir, big leaf maple, and red alder. This land we're standing on and that this facility is being built on is a wetland where these relatives are found. That is why we included and honored them in this artwork. This facility is going to strengthen the relationship between the people, the land, and those relatives through its sustainability efforts. I'd like to thank a few people. First, my coworkers and partners for bringing me in on this project and believing in me. Our director, Stephanie James, and our culture program who blessed the site this morning. Karen Herden and her whole team. And finally, Jordan Howland with For Culture for guiding us through this project. I think I speak for the art team when I say that we're excited to get this project underway and to further strengthen the relationships between the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, the surrounding cities, King County, For Culture, and anyone else involved in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Now I'd like to introduce the mayor of Algona, Troy Linnell, who is representing the community that's hosting this very station. Mayor Linnell and his predecessor, as Councilmember Von Reichbauer pointed out, Dave Hill, have been formidable forces in helping to move this project forward. And they exemplify how partnerships between the county and the cities can be so effective in working together for the common good of the region while protecting the interests of the local community. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Linnell.
Thank you, Pat, and thanks to all of you for joining us here this morning. I think today's ceremony is a perfect example of the old saying that anything worth having is worth waiting for. It's been a long road to get where we are today. A lot of work has gone into making this facility a reality, and even more work will be required to finish the transfer station. I want to thank Dale Constantine for your leadership at the county level and your entire team at King County Solid Waste Division. In particular, I'd like to thank Pat McLaughlin, Dorian Waller, Karen Herndon, and the other dedicated experts who developed the plans and oversaw the design for the new transfer station. I'd also like to thank my predecessor, Mayor Hill, who did a great job representing our city in the initial negotiations that paved the way for an agreement that helped us bring this here today. The new transfer facility we are gathered at to launch today will be a true state-of-the-art transfer station, incorporating the latest processes and technology to maximize recycling, conserve resources, and improve sustainability in South King County. At the same time, it'll provide local residents visiting the facility with improved customer service and an excellent user experience. I know that residents of Algona and surrounding communities will appreciate having a conveniently located facility that can handle everything from solid waste disposal to hazardous waste collection and management. If these environmental benefits were the only thing this facility will deliver to our citizens, it would still be a project worthy of celebrating this morning. But I believe we're actually celebrating something even bigger and more important. At a time when too many government bodies seem to be stuck in neutral, this project represents a perfect example of what we can accomplish when we work together and take action to benefit those we represent. In doing so, the county and the city governments are creating a win-win-win situation. The first win, of course, will be the facility itself and the conservation, recycling, and convenience it will provide our citizens. The second win is the project that will involve straightening an important stretch of West Valley Highway. That is a much-needed road improvement that will improve safety and reduce traffic congestions on a major local arterial that so many local residents depend on every day. And the third win is the county agreement to turn over the old transfer station to the city of Algona, which will create a prime 25-acre site available for redevelopment. Opportunities like this do not come along every day, and we will need to be thoughtful and thorough in considering our options. As we consider those options, we will be forward-looking, we will engage our local citizens and make sure that whatever route we take is the right proposal for the long run and not just a right-now proposal that offers short-term rewards. As I recently told our city council in my State of City speech, I am more excited than ever about the future of prospects of our community. Projects like this transfer stations are the one reasons why. Thanks to all of you for your contributions that will help make it a reality.
Thank you, Mayor Linnell. It's now my honor to introduce to you the incredible professional who is overseeing and managing this massive oversight of the project, and that is Karen Herndon, who is serving as our project manager for the South County Recycling and Transfer Station. It's been Karen's exceptional leadership that took place beginning a transition in 2020, and a lot of things were transitioning, as you know, in 2020. A lot of challenges, a lot of transition, and it included bringing Karen on as our new project manager. And she's just done an exceptional job keeping this massive project on track, working through design, permitting, and now into construction. We couldn't be in better hands, so please welcome to the podium our esteemed project manager, Karen Herndon. Well, look at that, huh?
Thanks to all of you. Exactly. Thank you, Pat. I am both grateful and excited to be here to celebrate this occasion with all of the people who have played a part in making it happen. And that's so many of you, and you know the hard work that you did. The project team has had many responsibilities and many challenges, and we're extremely grateful for the support that comes from so many sources: our consultants, the cities, the King County agencies that we partnered with, and our contractors as well. And I'm honored now to introduce Kathleen Smith from the International Living Futures Institute. Kathleen is the Vice President of Programs and Innovation and a nationally recognized expert in sustainable design, construction, and education. She was in the very room back in 2016 when Executive Constantine announced his goal to make carbon neutral design a standard for county projects, as well as a priority action in the county's strategic climate action plan. Kathleen was instrumental in providing the training to county management to ensure these goals would be met and provided technical assistance to the project early on with a feasibility assessment. The South County Recycling and Transfer Station project and the sustainability features it includes is a full circle example of how the executive's directives are being carried out. And Kathleen is a critical part of this success story. Please join me in welcoming Kathleen Smith. Kathleen?
Thank you so much, Karen. That was really beautiful. I am so inspired being here today with you all. Beautiful day, beautiful project, all the conversation of collaboration, of hard work, perseverance, the interconnection of all of us and the land, the history. It's just incredible. So I am truly honored to be here today with all of you celebrating this incredibly important milestone for this project, for the county, and really for the building industry as a whole. King County's South County Recycling and Transfer Station will be both a model of regenerative building that centers climate, health, and equity, but it will also be a beacon that's inspiring change across the country and across the world. So at its core, the International Living Futures Living Building Challenge asks, what if every act of design and construction made the world a better place? King County is meeting that call to action with this project. that will produce more energy than it consumes, increases biodiversity, enhances the ecological function of the site, and improves equity and social justice by integrating design and program elements that reflect the priorities of the community, including green jobs, art, meeting spaces, and improved food access. All of this in the form of this one recycling and transfer station project. This is really not surprising coming from King County. The county has long been a leader in addressing environmental and social issues. This is clearly demonstrated with the bold commitment to identify 20 zero energy and living building challenge projects by 2025. With this project and the other 12 that are currently in the pipeline, King County is well on its way to meeting this commitment and demonstrating that true leadership portfolio-wide by providing inspiration and living proof that regenerative design is possible across multiple building types and scales, including industrial buildings, which are often overlooked in the green building movement. So the positive impacts of each of these projects goes far beyond the site boundaries. It improves the quality of the surrounding communities and ecosystems, but it also inspires change and action in other counties and agencies amongst other building owners, building professionals, and policymakers. Buildings have the power to change minds and culture, but the real power comes when we act like a movement, using these buildings, these living buildings, as inspiration to make change around them. And that's exactly what King County is doing. With an industrial building type that most see as really utilitarian, King County is taking advantage of the opportunities that come with any and all design, construction, and operations processes and projects to address climate, health, and equity issues, and to truly make this world a better place. So thank you, King County, and everyone here, and everyone who's worked on this project, including the late, great Patty Southard. Thank you for your good work, for your inspiration, hope, and the call to action that this project brings. Kudos and congratulations.
Thank you, Kathleen. Now I would like to introduce Solid Waste Division Supervisor Henry Dotson, who was a pivotal part of an employee-led design team to ensure the new station would meet the needs of customers who will use it, as well as the employees who will work there. Please join me in welcoming Solid Waste Division Leader Henry Dotson.
Thank you. It is my honor to be here this morning at the groundbreaking ceremony. I would like to start by thanking all the entities that were instrumental in bringing this project together. Thank you, HDR Engineering, Project Management Office, Recycling Environmental Service, Facility Engineering Service Section, Transfer Station Operators, Scaled Operators, Truck Drivers, and both the Deputy Division Director and Division Director. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished through collaborative planning and frontline employee inclusion. Skirts benefited from frontline employees' experiences and perspectives. For example, the original commercial vehicle entrance was identified by TSOs as a choke point, as was subsequently reworked to better accommodate trucks and processing waste. Other examples of staff providing valuable insight is when health and environmental investigator Annette Crandall suggested installing a dedicated recycling lane so customers there only to recycle material would not only require to wait in lines with customers would discard garbage, which ultimately will decrease overall queuing of vehicles. Elimination of most of the gate arms and utilizing traffic lights and stop signs make easier customer routing. TSO staff, particularly Rhonda Scobie and Alex Nagy, were instrumental in getting additional 3,000 square feet added to the commercial tipping floor. They also stressed the importance to change design plans from a flat push wall to a curved wall, which makes easier processing garbage. The station will not only meet our customers' expectations, but will also meet employee needs to provide safe, efficient service. Coming from the private sector, I can tell you in most cases, frontline employees might be in the know of certain projects, but they are rarely involved in the overall process. This cannot be understated. It feels good to be part of a dynamic team and know that its leaders trust and believe in its employees to include them in the planning and design phase of skirts. From the start, the division director made a promise to listen to the staff that do the work, and skirts is better off for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the end of the speeches and the beginning of the dig, right? And this is really, this groundbreaking is representative of the project's embodiment of our commitment, both from an environmental, from an equity, and from a service perspective for the South County region. So very excited to invite, and I'd also like, we go through this process over the last over 10 years. There's been at least one occasion when I've needed some advice, at least once. And I want to just acknowledge Christy True, who's been that advisor for me from time to time. And Christy, would you join, thank you, would you join us in this first ceremonial dig along with our other distinguished speakers here? 2, 1, go! You did it! Well,